We've always had a daycare in our home since I was 21. I worked with my mom from 21 to 30 years old, basically.
Okay, and the present location you've been at
Yes,
that long.
present location 2015. October 2015.
Well, do you understand let's say the challenges that the city with the ordinance of the R rating versus the one daycares moving to commercial districts now?
Do I understand?
Were you aware of that?
No, I was not aware of
Okay, if we deny you, would you be able to readjust? I know you didn't make a big investment, but
that. Yeah.
to look for a commercial site of location.
I don't know if. Look,
Because how long you say you had the daycare?
I've been there since 2000. I've had my daycare since 2015, October. But I just like the smaller, and I don't think I would want to like a huge center. I like the number staying low. 10 is not really a big number. We have a second person working with us because that's 5 and 5 to ratio, but 1 to 5. So it still be a small setting. Center requires more. It's more of a responsibility. I like my small setting.
How many people you care for now?
I have 5 in the day, and I have 5 in the evening, and 5 at night. So I have a total of 15 throughout the day.
You're allowed 5 at a time?
Yes, sir. So I have my 5 I have through the daytime, and then I have the ones I pick up from school, and then I have the ones at night.
Councilman, the limit is 10.
Yes.
Well, I don't know I'm not sure how I don't have it in front of me how the ordinance reads as far as 10 per day or at one time. I can
We got to let Bill answer the question.
I believe that it is 10 at a time.
Yes.
And can I ask her a question? You said you've expended about $20,000, and that was for what? Architectural?
I'm an architect. My first architect engineer I had, Mr. Carlos. He did him, and then I had a mechanical. I had to get, when they sent my plans back to me, they wanted me to get a mechanical engineer to make sure my AC was big enough to hold 10 people. So I had to do that, and then I had to get the Knox box. That was a purchase, and I also had to get the vent hood, which was like I think I like $11,000 for the vent hood that goes in your house, that goes over your stove for the commercial. So that is the expenses that I've already sent out, and that's not including the material for as the handicap ramp and all that. I didn't even include that. That's just what architect and the vent hood.
Have you put in the handicap ramp?
We have our handicap ramp but I didn't even include that in the expenses that I just gave you guys.
Yeah, we're not, to be honest, we're not allowed to consider financial, economic, but the hardship is the key thing. And what we're facing is whether or not the city considers your upgrade from 5 to 10 a hardship for us. Did you have a statement?
I just wanted to let the board know that the applicant has indeed applied for building permits to make the needed changes to the home, but it does appear that some revisions are needed before the permit would be able to be approved and all of that.
Okay. Yes. You have a follow-up question?
Yeah. You say she has not applied?
She has applied.
She has applied, and she has gotten approval from some departments, but she's still waiting on approval from mechanical and electrical on her plans.
Your question about the 10 at a time is the DHR ruling, not our zoning ordinance. I thought it was in both. There's what you call, I guess, reliance on what the city has previously approved, since based on her previous approval, she has spent that much money and has actually filed for her permit because we gave her approval previously. I think she would have a good argument to take us to court if we denied her now, since she's gone that far down the road. So I'm going to let y'all make that decision.
So hardship could be considered based on the previous.
Well, if it were in court, it wouldn't be really a hardship. It would be reliance upon our previous approval. If she hadn't done anything to that extent, then I'd say something different. But she has relied upon our previous approval.
Yes, sir. I just want to say I soundly agree with the opinion of the council there, reliance aspect of it. She had nothing to do with whether it was right or wrong that she got approved in February, but she was moving in good faith to get to this point, and now she's asking for this extension, which is within a 90-day frame period. So I agree wholeheartedly with
You have a follow-up question, sir?
Yeah, the site drawings here. These your architecture drawing that we have before us here.
Yes, sir.
You hadn't had the work done though.
No, we have. It's nothing need to be done. The only thing that need to be done, which Miss Marie was saying, the two things they came back with was they want me to have a mop sink outside, and they wanted me to have my toilet moved to the opposite wall that for the handicap, so my sink can come inside of the bathroom. And that was the two things that they wanted. The AC part has been taken care of. That's been submitted with the site plans. That's when I was informed that I needed to redo it because he couldn't approve it that it's okay until I got my extension.
Okay, and fire is the final, they'll be the final inspection?
According to the information I had, mechanical and electrical still had not approved it, but fire had.
Okay, because fire was obviously a big part of this. Right, yes. All right, do we have other council or board members that wish to ask questions?
More of a comment than anything. Just, did you understand what Mr. Anderson said about our change in position of why we're not hearing these cases anymore?
I didn't understand the reason, being that I didn't understand the reason why it has changed. But I spoke with Miss Marie York, and she did inform me through email and phone that they've been advised to not accept any new applications. But I felt as if mine was approved before and I wasn't a new applicant, that I would, at least try.
Right. Did you see the staff's report with regards to the opinion? And so a new code is going into effect in January.
Yes, sir.
And there's now a separate path for people who want to expand the home daycares to go. And the only reason I bring it up is because we've had several people come down and tried to apply because other people have been approved. And so I just want to make sure that you were clear on kind of why we originally taking the step we were, and I guess trying to push it to January through a more appropriate path. And I understand what Mr. Anderson's saying about the hardship now and your reliance, but just from the standpoint of making sure there's no confusion so other people wouldn't get confused and say, well, how come either I got denied or, I think yours is a special case. So.
We have like this little network, so it's been floating around.
You're right.
That,
Seems like it.
That's it. They was like, well, you already been approved. So, but we have a group, and everybody is aware that they're not accepting new applications. Because she even told me on the phone January would be the new rules. But I feel like I didn't know if I fell up on the current rule because I came in February. Mine wasn't applied after that. So,
Okay. Any other questions for the board for the applicant? Okay. Do we have anyone that wishes to add anything either in support or comment in opposition? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll conclude the public hearing on this request for an extension. Discussion of the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Understand it is a bit of a quandary, but I think it would be wrong for us to pull the rug out from underneath this woman at this time because, one, it was granted previously, and staff continued to encourage her to come before the board, and I think it would be wrong to deny it, and my motion is to approve it.
Second.
I have a motion to approve, a second. Any further discussion before we proceed with a call for a vote? Okay. With that, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, we have 6 in support, 1 in opposition, and the request is approved. All right. Okay, we'll move on to the next, which is 6447, 6420. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Roxanne Eaton, and my address is 3709 Holly Ridge Circle, Mobile.
Okay, and the staff's recommended your extension be approved. Will that be sufficient time if this board would grant it?
Yes, it would, because when we went to the building permit office after our approval for variance, they told us that we had to have a structural engineer's report, and that was our holdup. It took us from March to May to finally reach a structural engineer who agreed to come out and look at our project. And he wasn't able to complete his report until last month, right before our 6-month deadline was expiring. So that's why we applied for an extension. But we have that report. We turned it into the permitting office now, and we will go up once approved and apply for our building permit, which our variance required us to get a building permit within the first 6 months, but we weren't able to.
Okay. And any questions of the board for the applicant? All right, anything of staff to add to that before we?
No, sir.
Okay. Do we have anyone in the audience in support or opposition? Has anything to add? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, staff's recommended for approval for the 6-month extension. We have no one in opposition. Chair will entertain a motion.
A motion that we approve the measure.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, now we'll move on to our new applications. 6475 512 AC Pipes regarding 4742 Airport Boulevard.
And I just want to bring to the board's attention, you do have several comments that were submitted online as well as via email that are all in support of the application.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Kirk Matte, filling in for my law partner, Casey Pipes, but here on behalf of our client, Mary Emily, and Outliner Studios. My address is 150 Government Street.
Okay. And your address and name, please? Yeah.
2061 Point Legier Road, Mobile, Alabama.
Did you able to get that for the record? Okay. All right. This application is recommended for approval, subject to kind of a host of conditions. Have you looked at those conditions?
Yes.
And are you in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll ask the board, is there any questions for the applicant? I think this was, from what we gather, it was kind of a difficult determining classification of the business, but based on, I think you have a license that you applied for that kind of determined.
So yeah, it's a unique situation. The services she provides, this medical restorative art, is a kind of new service, and we worked with the staff on this. I think if you saw a picture of what her providing the service, it would be reasonable to think this could appear to be a tattoo parlor, but it is anything but that. And that's really why we want to be here today, to answer any questions, because this is a neat service that she's providing.
You have something, Mr.
Yeah, before the application was submitted, I think she had contacted the staff, and Margaret called me, and we discussed this. And yeah, looking at it, like Kirk said, it could be a medical office, it could be a tattoo parlor. It's hard to distinguish. And we looked at the chart of permitted uses, and it's similar to the matter we had with the Hank Blue Brewery, and it was not really any use in the chart that fit it, and the circuit court granted upheld our variance because of that being the hardship. So same situation here.
Any other comments or questions of the board once again? If we were to grant this today, based on the conditions, could somebody come in at a later time should they choose to move to another location?
Another similar business
Similar
could come
business.
into this location.
Right.
Yes. Or if she were to sell the practice, somebody else could operate the business.
Okay, but could they have a tattoo parlor versus a restorative care?
No, sir. Condition number 1, the use is limited to medical restorative art and not decorative art would prevent that.
Okay. All right. Just want to be clear on that because that usually, sometime in the future, comes back for us to address with other applications. All right. Any questions of the board? Okay. Do we have anyone in the audience in support or opposition? Have anything to add? You're in agreement with the staff's recommendation and conditions. Okay. That'll conclude the public hearing on this application. Questions, comments from the board? Okay. Chair will entertain a motion.
I motion that we accept, approve, along with the conditions stipulated.
Okay, and the variance will not be in contrary to public interest. Following special conditions as listed by the staff are to be followed. In spirit and chapter shall be observed. Substantial justice done to the applicant and surrounding neighborhood by granting the variance. With that, I'll ask for a second. Have a motion to approve with conditions.
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right. Does that conclude our meeting for today? Is there any other business, Mr. Anderson or staff?
No, sir.
Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.